Today we're going to talk about your mental apartment and clearing that out. I am Lenny Wennerstrom, and I am here to guide you to find your purpose. And I use a book, Dr. Shad Helmstetter's book. I read a passage every single day, 365 Days of Positive Self-Talk for Finding Your Purpose. So, hey, yo, Feather. So here we are in Austin, Texas. On I think this is day 17 or 18. We got here on the 19th of July, and then Steve got a blood infection. Steve is my husband, and he's been in the ICU ever since. And so they put in a vent, and then they've taken that off, and now they have a tracheostomy. So he has been learning to speak from a tube, like a tube in his throat. And that's also temporary, just until he gains his strength back. And so he's doing better. So thank you for your prayers and all of that good stuff. He will probably be in rehab for a couple of weeks, and here in Amarillo, Texas. So we are kind of out of our depth, but I tell you what, the love we have found here is absolutely amazing. Speaking of mental apartments, I've been really doing my self-talk, and I cannot tell you how important that has been to be able to create, like, through all of this change, being in a strange place. Of course, I'm in the RV. We've got our RV here. There's the puppies. But so much has happened, and Steve always took care of all the mechanical stuff of the RV. And we had just before we had a leak fixed, and because this is like it is a it's a house on wheels, and and it's, you know, and you're bumping when you're driving and everything, so you're moving all the electrical and all of that on the road. So it's wonderful. It requires constant maintenance to make sure it's okay. And so it sprung a leak, and finally, I think I told you that a couple of days back, but finally I found someone to help me, and it turns out that it is, and man, this guy, like no other RV tech that I have met, he just, like, it was a puzzle, and he was going to solve it. And everyone else, I hadn't even realized how they approach things, how people approach things. He was so gung-ho, so excited to figure it out. He just wanted to problem solve and figure it out. That was so important to him. So anyway, I absolutely love that. And he figured it out. It was behind the washer. And we have a stacked washer and dryer in there. And so it was the washer. And so now that is hopefully totally fixed, so I can use the water rather than the pump. And because I was using the pump, that's when you dry camp. You just use we have an 80-gallon tank. And I tell you, I've learned such an immense amount. And I should read the passage first, so that you know just our passage for today, and then I'll come back to all of this. That was just kind of an update of where we're at. But let's read your passage, because this is about you finding your purpose. August 6th, day 219 of the year, 147 days left, and 59.84% complete with 2024. So we are just moving through this year. I always say that, but we are. Like, it's just, it feels like it's moving so quickly. Let's read this to you for August 6th. By the way, August 6th, a very good friend of mine, Charlie Quimby, having his birthday today. So happy birthday, Charlie. I love you so very, very mucho. Okay, here's your passage. When I'm in alignment with my true purpose in life, other things fall into place. I overcome obstacles more easily. I reach more of my goals, and every day has more meaning. When I'm in alignment with my true purpose in life, other things fall into place. I overcome obstacles more easily. I reach more of my goals, and every day has more meaning. So let's go. Bzz. We're going to spin that around. When you're in alignment with your true purpose in life, other things fall into place. You overcome obstacles more easily. You reach more of your goals, and every day has more meaning. That is really powerful. I think I say that after each of these passages, because they are just so, it is you, it is me as a person who is listening to this and resonating with it. taking responsibility for our lives, understanding that we create these goals, and then we understand the obstacles to overcoming them, and we create these action steps. It's something that's really important to me, is this active goal setting that I teach. It's as a certified life coach by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. It's really interesting how powerful it is to this active goal setting, because it's such a difference between most others who talk about setting goals, and it's the obstacles more than anything, understanding what they are, and you neutralize them by your action steps. Your action steps actually create your plan, and it's really, really powerful to do it that way. You're just always in command of your life. So now let's talk about clearing out your mental apartment. This is self-talk tip number 29 in Dr. Shad's book, Clearing Out Your Mental Apartment. Imagine that you live in a mental apartment. You've had the same old furniture for years. The furniture is your old mental programs. You've got your hand-me-down furniture, which is your old way of thinking, from your family, parents, teachers, friends, and all of your past. It's old furniture. It's tattered and worn, but you're used to it, and it's all you know. It's your old way of thinking. Now, let's say you want to clear out your mental apartment, so you decide to get rid of all of your old mental furniture by getting rid of all your old negative mental programs. So you take all of that old furniture out and you store it out of sight in your garage. The next morning, you wake up to a beautifully empty mental apartment. No old negative furniture, no old easy chair of negative opinions, no old desk with drawers full of bad attitudes, no old television set spewing out negative programs. Your mental apartment is completely empty, and you realize you have nowhere to sit or do anything. We actually switched pages on this because it's a little bit longer. So let me switch out the page. So what do you do next? After a while, you go out to the garage and you start bringing the old furniture back in. First, you bring back in that old easy chair of negative opinions, the one you were going to get rid of. And then later the same day, you bring in the old desk. That night, you bring back in the old television set. Finally, after just a day or two, your entire mental apartment is filled back up with the same old tattered negative furniture that you were used to living with. Why did you bring it all back in? Because you didn't have any new furniture to replace it with. If you want to get rid of the old negative furniture in your life, you have to replace it with something better. You have to get new positive furniture. New programs, or your old programs, will come back in. The new furniture is your new self-talk. Positive self-talk replaces the old negative furniture in your mental apartment with new positive programs. When you learn the new self-talk, you change the furniture in your mental apartment for good, and that's the beginning of changing your life. And it is. It has, I can attest to the old mental furniture that I have been moving out of my life for, almost a year at this point. And listening to it, it has transformed my life. If I would have gone into this situation with Steve, because think about being in a totally different state, and yes, we RV, so it's not like so different to me, and in the sense of being someplace, but being someplace for so long that wasn't what was intended, without a plan, and the things that we wanted to do, that is just like, that's out the door. It didn't happen. The very day we got here, he was off to the emergency room, and had because of that blood infection that just put him into sepsis shock. Then the heart went into shock. Then the kidneys started shutting down. It was just like this entire thing that happened, and they had to intubate him so that he could breathe. And now, in the past, what was it, on July 31st, they put the trach in him so that he could start moving his neck and start learning or start speaking with a little speaking tube. And so it's a really interesting journey. Yet it's how you flow through things. And the old mental furniture, my old mental furniture would have been probably flight, like hide my head in the sand, or that's not entirely true. Happy Beans, no te vayas. Look, she's going after a bird. She went, I don't know if you can see her. Charlie, our cat, goes up underneath. He did it in the house before, but he goes up underneath the RV and finds this little place that he stays in, and he stays there all day. And he comes out, I don't know, when I come back from the hospital or something, sometimes it's, well, I've been staying at the hospital, but because Lynette, our daughter, went back home, so I have to stay here with the puppies, but he's better, so, meaning Steve is better, so last night was the first night I didn't stay with him with Lynette being gone, so, and the puppies, because she wasn't here to take care of them. So it's been, you just think about being in, and I talk about excelling in times of change. This is a time of change, and I have flowed through it like never before. There is no, I didn't know whether he was going to live or die. I still don't know where, I mean, he's definitely doing better, so we'll just, continue to be on the positive. Yeah, it's been a difficult time. So, Happy Beans, I've got to find her because they're not supposed to be off the leash here. Happy Beans, hang on a second. I've got to find her. Happy Beans, ven acá. Happy Beans, ven acá. Ven acá, puppy. Happy Beans, 1, 2, 3. So, I gotta go find her. Oh, there she is. Okay, ven acá, ven. ¿Dónde está Feather? Feather. Happy Beans, ven acá. Ven acá. Up. So, back to you, and this and sharing, like, with my old mental apartment and the things that I was saying. Feather, come on, Feather. Ven acá. Grab my puppies. Give me puppies. Ben. Keep them close. So this whole idea of mental furniture, that's negative, and you move it out, but you don't have programs to replace it with. That's what I did. I replaced my old mental programs by listening to the self-talk, that app, which I always have in the description, the positive self-talk app, because those are programs that I choose for myself. I want to have good relationships, positive, healthy relationships. I want to have high self-esteem. I want to feel good about myself. I want to know that I can create the life financially that I want to create. I want to know that I can live a quality life, and I can create that for myself. And these are the programs that I choose, career and all the different ones, health and fitness. Those are so important for me that I've been listening to every single day. Well, I've missed a couple of days, but not very many. And so I keep rewiring my brain. And if you want to understand what they are, literally, they're just phrases like what I read to you in Dr. Shad's book now. They're very concise, very precise, very specific for your brain to follow. Your brain goes by what you say and your feelings, all of that. It has no idea. It's not subjective, it's objective. And you are programming it all the time. It's being programmed. You may not be programming it. You didn't program it when you were first born. You're, just as what we read, your parents, your teachers, your peers, your all of those, everybody had something to program into your brain because you didn't know and they didn't know. And so you got these mental programs of that you're not good enough, you don't have enough, you're not strong enough, you are not able to finish what you started, you self-sabotage. You don't measure up, and you don't feel good about yourself. You don't like yourself. You're always beating up on yourself. Like, there's just so many of these programs which are just that. They are mental programs which you can change, and that you can change a habit in 21 days. What happens with that, really? This is neuroscientists and researchers. What really happens? In 21 days, you start breaking those down and replacing them with something that you want. Like when you say, I'm going to drink water every single morning. So you drink the water every single morning, and you have or lemon water or whatever it is. You hydrate every morning, you do meditations every morning, you run, you work out, whatever it is at the same time, and you're creating a new habit. And by doing that, you start breaking down the old habits that you have and creating new habits. So it's and creating new neural pathways. You're creating new neural pathways, which is neuroplasticity, which we talk about a lot. And that is the ability for your brain to rewire itself until you take your last breath. Until you take your last breath, you are rewiring your brain, and you're building self-esteem. All of these programs, the foundation of them is self-esteem. Because self-esteem means, how do you estimate yourself? How do you see yourself? And if you see yourself less than others or better than others, or you don't have enough, or you're not good enough, or you'll never amount to a hill of beans, or all of these things, those are just negative programs that are not serving you. Those are mental furniture, negative mental furniture that you can move out, and then you replace them. What this is saying, you replace that with new mental furniture, meaning new mental programs that serve you, that lift you, that help you to understand who and what you really are, meaning you are all powerful. You can do absolutely anything. You can be anything, you can create anything, you can have anything. All of that is up to you. And it's only your mental programs that say that you are limited. You are not limited in any way. In any way, physically, like you chose. Spiritually, I teach practical spirituality, so the spiritual journey and the human experience. Those two parts make up the whole of where we are today, and we find ourselves in having the human experience, but that spiritual journey is all powerful. You are a light being. You are love and light. You are pure. You are whole. You don't need anyone to affirm you, or you are never alone. All these things that we think we're lonely, we think I didn't know whether Steve was going to, he almost died several times. And, and I felt lonely. I felt all these things. That is lack spiritually. You are never alone. And his journey is his. And, and which is fine to have those feelings. That's part of the human experience. And it's beautiful. It's just being aware of what it is so that you can understand just how very powerful you really are, and that you can like this. These are roles that we play. Steve is playing a role in my life. I am playing a role in his. Currently, if you are listening to this all the time, I am playing a role in yours. You are playing a role in mine. It's just energy. It is just energy until we leave again. We leave the physical bodies, and we go back to source, universe, God, whatever you want to call that higher power, that infinite intelligence that is all powerful, omnipresent, and omniscient. It's just everywhere all the time, flowing through us. Quantum physics, quantum mechanics, the space between, like the cells, the space in between. It's all frequency. The space between, if I'm looking up at the trees, I think I was talking about that the other day. I was meditating and over here, and I was looking at one of those, the trees, but they have seats just a little bit down a little bit. And man, there's an ant on me. That ant has a role in my life. So to be taken off my hand. So I was looking up through, just looking up at the leaves, and because Joe Dispenza, a lot of what he teaches, it's quantum, it's energy, it's frequency, and it's understanding that frequency is like between the leaves. There's space, and that space is frequency, and frequency has information. Like it's all information, and the more that you move into that frequency, the higher frequency of the unknown, because the unknown is where miracles happen. Miracles. You are directing your life. And so this is where you can absolutely be positively certain, and have total faith in that you are directing, and you will create whatever life that you wish to create just by your thinking, just by understanding. So I share that with you because these are, one of the things I offer in my coaching packages is you can excel in times of change. And and living the change as intensely as I have, the uprooting, the possible death or possible life, possible who knows what, if life continues, what will that look like? The just not being, just all of this, the sadness, all the human experience, like all those human feelings, the bouncing back very quickly because of the changes, the programs that I have, the mental programs, that old mental furniture that I have moved out and replaced with new mental furniture, new mental programs. And so I now have an easy seat, easy recliner, or whatever you want to call it, a new television, which I would never have a television, but I guess I have TVs in here. They're never on. But my programs are so different now. They're so powerful. Like I understand. Like I just naturally I say, you got this, Lenny. You can do this, and I do, and I do have it, and I do know I can do it. And I'm not saying that it's not challenging, and not at all. That's part of the human experience. That's how we learn. That's how we understand contrast of what we want and what we don't want. I focus on what I want. I really focus on what I want, not what I don't want. And I don't focus on trying to say, that hopefully Steve will live or any of that. It's not his journey. I focus on what I want for me. And that's a very powerful thing. And that bouncing back from immediately, like within seconds, sometimes, and I mentioned this before, sometimes I go back and forth, but my programs are so strong now that I know that I got this. I may be sad for a moment, feeling a little down, or, have a little bit of fear, but I come back because I keep listening to the self-talk, and I keep understanding who and what I really am, and I keep on changing those programs to uplift me and help me to understand that I can overcome absolutely anything. These are just obstacles on planet Earth to move me to where I need to go. I want to go. It's just part of my own journey. And there's a lot of power in coming from that space rather than feeling the victim of a situation. I am not a victim of everything that has happened, or Steve's health, or that a victim of the situation of how it is right now. Not at all a victim. And anyone can easily fall into that, and many people do. It's like, why is this happening to me? And it's always why? Instead of like, how can I overcome this? Like, how can I make this a good, positive experience? No matter how difficult it is. What can I do with this? Hey, Charlie, look, Charlie just came out from underneath. The dogs attack him. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, they love him. They're very, very close. So I hope all of that is helpful to you. And if you'd like to be coached, if you're going through something difficult, I don't know whether, you're losing, or you've lost someone, or it's a big move, or a divorce, or anything, a huge change, let me know. Just email me, Lenny@LennyMotivates.com, with winner in the subject line or anywhere in the body, and let me know, and I'll send you. I'm still working on, I should have that this week. I was supposed to have it. Just all this stuff has happened, but I should have that this week. But no matter what, I'll send you, the pricing and everything else, the different programs, and but let me know, because there is nothing wrong with a little bit of hand holding through all of this. And I had my daughter who has come up with the self-talk and understanding it. There was a lot of hand holding, just to get through these little moments, but not just to get through, but to excel, to take a change and excel in that change, to move from feeling victim or feeling insecure or under inability to move forward, feeling frozen, to feeling empowered, seeing it as an opportunity, no matter how difficult, like looking at it from a different perspective, and coming through to where the change actually, when you come out the other side, it's like, I know I'm more than halfway through this particular challenge that I'm going through, And I'm already like so empowered by what I'm doing, like creating this package for others to help others through change, that they can excel through change, is huge, because I needed that hand holding. I needed someone to uplift me, because we're on planet Earth. This is the human experience, and I would sometimes I felt frozen. I didn't know what I just, it's like, wow, now what do I do? Like, this is, where do I go from here? You know, where are we, like, financially? Do I have a handle on that? No, I didn't. The motorhome getting a leak, and you know, on the floor, under the floor, and not knowing what to do, and Steve was nowhere to, you know, and no ability to help me, and he was the one who took care of it all, and I figured it out, and today it was resolved. And there are other things, you know, that just in the motorhome, just different things that have happened in the motorhome, and me having to learn how to drive it. I love it. Like, I will be traveling in this, speaking to you from different places, because I love it. It is such a wonderful life, and I've learned all kinds of things, how to, like, right now I'm drying out these little air returns. You know, they were filthy. I didn't even know. So the guy that helped me is like, I had no idea. I'm learning all these little things. When you're learning, you're just moving yourself forward. Like, learning something that is so foreign to you, it always helps that neuroplasticity, forming new programs, learning new things. It's very, very, it's so important to keep yourself growing. So I share all this because I know that you too can excel in times of change. It doesn't matter what it is. Life or death, huge move, divorce, marriage. It could be something really good, but you're freaked out, buying a new home, losing a job, moving up in a career, being fired from something that you absolutely loved, and now you're trying to find a new way. You know, it doesn't matter. You can excel in times of change. And that is Dr. Shad's, the title of his book that is no longer in print. But I love it so mucho because it truly says it. It truly says exactly what it is. You can excel in times of change, and you can. You can, and you will. And I'm here to guide you. So if you are interested, you just email me, Linny@LinnyMotivates.com. And I tell you, we're going to move forward together. You're going to do it, but I'm going to give you that foundational support and lift and the right tools to do it, to have you soar into that next chapter of your life, because all it is a new chapter. It is part of the human experience, and you can do that. So you can do absolutely anything, and finding your purpose, that is key to so mucho of your life. When you have purpose, you have meaning, you know where you're going, you have direction. So I hope that you will, because this channel is all about you finding your purpose and me helping you to do that. So, and with Dr. Shad Helmstetter's books. So there you go. I love you so very, very much. You can do absolutely anything you put your mind to, what you put your heart to, what you believe in. Change those programs so that your beliefs are real and serve you, as opposed to knocking you down, sabotaging you, telling you that you're not enough. You know, just all of these things that these programs, over 77% in our conscious minds, are doing to us, and over 90-something% in our subconscious minds are these negative programs that are stopping you, holding you back. That, especially in times of change, they just come out, and you freeze, like you don't know what to do, or you get angry, or you get your old programs, whatever they are, in coping. And if they're not tools that serve you, if they're not programs that are serving you, let me help you get through that. And you can start by listening to the self-talk. You can start by downloading that, get 30 days free. That in and of itself is going to help you immensely. Absolutely. And start with self-esteem. Start listening to self-esteem. And you're going to hear all these wonderful things about you. Remember to listen to it passively. So many of the nurses here that have started listening to it, they've downloaded it, and they're like listening to it, actively listening to it. This is passive listening in the background, like a radio or a television just playing music in the background, because while you're doing other things. Because if you listen actively and your old programs are, you're not good enough, you're not unique, you're, all of these things that you're just, you're not a self-starter, you need motivation, and all the things that the self-esteem program, and I'm talking about a program within a self-talk program, not the mental programs, but it's creating your mental programs. So I just want to be clear. That is amazing. Like, that will help you to shift so greatly if you listen passively. But if you're listening actively, your mind, your programs that are running right now in your mental computer, your brain, are going to be like, that's not me. I'm not a self-starter. I'm not good enough to do that. I don't take responsibility for myself. I do feel like I'm a victim of this because that happened to me. Like, your self-talk will just like take off. And those are old programs. They are old programs that do not serve you. So you want to listen passively. So because your brain is constantly recording. When you listen every single day, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, or just to one of the programs, and I mean listen, like, not actively, it starts to rewire it. It starts to become wired in. That's what wiring in means. It creates these new neural pathways, like all these circuits that are clumped together that say, this is the new program. I believe in myself. I am good enough. I am strong enough. I can reach my financial goals. I can have a good relationship. I can succeed in every single area of my life. These are the programs that offers, that self-talk app offers from Dr. Shad. So 30 days free, start listening to that, and then email me, Lenny@lennymotivates.com, with the word winner in there. Let's get you started in excelling in your time of change, and or anything else that you're doing. Let's get you started with the life coaching, as a certified life coach, and the Institute of Self-Talk. Like, I'm a self-talk trainer, so we're going to work through all of this together, and you're going to see in a very short while just how much you can achieve by the active goal setting, by the passive listening to the self-talk, by changing these mental programs that do not serve you and hold you back, and they're counterproductive in your life. You're just going to see these concepts that will help you to rally and succeed in the tools that I share with you. Very, very, very powerful. And the goal setting, reaching goals, that actually knowing the right goal for you, as opposed to a goal, because it takes just as long to reach a wrong goal as a right goal, the right one. And I always say this, that it takes you even longer because you're kind of, it doesn't feel right, but you don't know exactly where or how or any of that, but you still keep going towards it because somebody told you to do it, or your parents, or it's what your society says you should do this, or whatever. Whatever in your career you need to go to higher nursing, or whatever it is, just because that's the way most other people do it. But it's not what you really want. So we really look at, in the coaching, what is it that you really want? And we set goals around that so that you get to that goal much more quickly. I hope this has been helpful. I mean, there's a lot in the life coaching that will help you excel no matter where you're at in life. That's just what it's all about. It's designed to help you no matter where you are in life, and to help you succeed in every single area of your life. To absolutely succeed in every single area of your life. Financially, personally, in your relationships, in absolutely anything at all. So I love you so very, very much. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of people are lining up for the cabins and stuff, so it's kind of busy. So I believe in you. You can do this. You can do absolutely anything. You can find your purpose. If you have not yet found your purpose, you can, or if you have found your purpose, you can lean into it. You can activate it, and you can really work into it. So I believe in you so very, very mucho. And I love you. And you are a shining star. And as always, shining my light to brighten yours. We will see you tomorrow.